Hello. Um, this is setting up a freshwater fish tank for dummies and teachers. Um, and you might wonder what makes me qualified to talk about this subject. I have two fish tanks. This one, my beta tank, I've had since March. And that's mango. You can see them in the right side. And then I've also had a glowfish fish tank. That is a more recent tank I've gotten in the past like 2 or 3 months. And I work at Petco, a lot of people know. So I have training in how to help people set up fish tanks. And I've learned a lot just like talking with people who know about fish tanks and people talking with the people who don't know about fish tanks. So pretty much the basics, you would need a tank, somewhere to put your little guy, and then you want a lid. It keeps anything from getting in there that you don't want in there, like cat paws or hair or dust or anything like that. You'd want a substrate to help mimic the natural environment. Along the same lines, decor. And in terms of substrate, sand or gravel are usually the two that you'll see, and either work well. And for decor, that could include plants, but like live plants, but that's not necessarily a demand. You just want something to like make your tank interactive and cute and fun for them. And then you'd also want a filter. This makes sure that there's nothing in your tank that's gonna hurt your little guy. And it'll like trap most of the stuff that like you can't really see that's in there. And just help keep your fish tank clean. It'll also provide a good space for the beneficial bacteria in your tank to replicate and such. Because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in the filter that help provide like surface area for the bacteria to live on. And then you'll want a thermometer to make sure that the temperature of your tank is at a good spot. And along those lines, you'll want a heater. Most fish that, at least that we sell at my Petco location, you're going to need a heater for. A lot of them aren't from um, cold water areas. So like the betas, they need a heater, and so do my glowfish. The only two at Petco that we sell that don't need a heater are goldfish and koi, which you would want a pond usually for those anyway. And then you're gonna need to dechlorinate any tap water that you add to your tank. Um, a lot of these water conditioners also take care of some other um, stuff in the tap water that would be harmful for your fish. And I use Prime. It's a really great one. Any kind of water conditioner works good enough though. And definitely read on the label how much you should add. You shouldn't add the whole bottle. That's a lot of chemicals for a little fish. You really only add like the tiniest bit. So make sure you read the label. And for the nitrifying bacteria, you're gonna need that. And if you put in a fish into a tank and you don't add bacteria, they're gonna get new tank syndrome, which is pretty much where there's no bacteria living there already, and they're gonna struggle to thrive. Usually it'll take like 2 or 3 weeks for them to get to a point where the bacteria is removing ammonia, which is what is toxic to fish, and what the bacteria take care of. So there's tons of different types. There's like a bacteria gel or a liquid bacteria. Any of them work. And then, like I was kind of saying, the fish are talk are creating ammonia in the water just by eating and existing, really. Um, and the bacteria need to turn ammonia into nitrite, and then bacteria turn nitrite into nitrate. And nitrate is not toxic. There are levels like you shouldn't want 40 parts per million or higher. About 0 to 20 parts per million of nitrate is a good range for them. And you can use test that with like test strips or test kit. I'd also recommend a gravel vacuum or siphon that'll help keep your fish clean, and you need to do water changes at least once a week. I would say not more. And you don't do 100% water change, you just do like a 20% water change. And that'll help make sure that there's that the ammonia level is regulated. And you're going to want a bucket because otherwise you don't have a good place to put all that water from your fish tank into. And then test strips, like I mentioned, you want to make sure that the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate levels are not off the chart and end up killing your fish. Why does this keep doing that? All right. And then for aquatic plants, like I said, they're not necessary. If you do have aquatic plants, though, like living ones, you need a plant light or they will die. Um, you can see that light behind me is my plant light. A lot of them have timers, which makes it easy. You don't have to turn it on every day. It'll just do its little thing. And then you can also get a bubbler. That just pumps air into the tank and then helps maintain dissolved oxygen levels. And that's it. I hope you learned something. And if you want to set up a fish tank for your classroom or your home or anything in between, you feel more prepared.